How can I sketch this little beach house and how do I begin a sketch? That's always the hardest part. And let me just show you how I do it. So if I have my empty piece of paper and I don't know how to start, I always start just with a bottom line and that I will put down here. And as you see, it doesn't have to be straight or anything. Don't worry about that. And now I want to sketch this beach house, and whether it's outside or just in a photo, what I do is I start with one side and I just sketch that line. And once I have that, I have a scale. I can use that as my scale to measure everything else. So, for example, if this is my photo here, or if I'm outside too, I can measure my outer wall, which is my scale now, and I can measure how broad this little house is compared to my first wall that I drew. So this would be one, this would be square here. And then we have about a half more. So we have 1.5 times our wall that we sketched here. So I can measure it here and I'm putting it here 1, and then I'll do a half, which is about here. And then I know where to put my second wall, and I can put my line up here. And it's not quite straight. It's a lot easier if you turn your page and then put a straight line down there. And do not worry about any lines that you think are wrong, like this line. You won't see it at the end anymore because we will do so many more lines on this little picture. And it's all part of the sketch. That way it becomes much livelier if you have a lot of lines on your paper. And then I can put on a roof here. And I just do that loosely here, a little loose line, and see how that fits. And then I will have a look where my door goes. I would say about here is the center. And at this point, I can still go over all of this. If I wanted to move this wall further over, I could still make it longer to both sides. I'm approaching very carefully here. And then I'll have a look at my windows. They start just a little underneath the roof. And let's put down a line here for our windows. And when I'm thinking about where to place the windows, I have my door here. So I'm thinking, okay, I need a little space in between my door and my windows. And I think this actually looks quite good. And then I can close them off here with the bottom line. Then we can put in the window frames because they stay white here at the end. And the door also has a white frame around it. And then I like to drop in all the details. I really think those make a sketch really interesting. So like this little sign here saying Strandhuset, or the little lock on this side, or the hinges here. And now for the roof. That again, I will measure. Roof heights are so differently, and it's very hard sometimes to perceive them correctly. So it helps me again if I have my scale. I use my scale, my first wall that I drew, and I hold it up to my roof. And then I can see that my roof is actually only half as high as my scale, maybe even a little less than that. So it's really a very little roof. This would be all the way up, so I think it's just up to here maybe. And then you need to copy the angle. And if you're outside, you can put your pen in front of you and you can hold it straight with your arm in front of you. And then you can, this is the picture, your real house. You can get the angle from your real house, look at it, and then put it down on your paper, just like you saw it. And that actually works really, really well. Now I will also sketch some of the wooden planks to show that it's a wooden house. And I will turn my paper a little bit. It's a little easier if you draw it from this side rather than going up with your pen. And then we see this little step in front of the house. We will do that too. And notice what perspective does. This line goes to the left and this line goes to the right. And then we have a few bushes and plants and maybe a little grass here and some pebbles. And in the background, we have the horizon, we have the sea. And make sure you get the same height here on both sides. And then we have some water here coming to the front because it's a beach house. It's very close to the water. Maybe some pebbles there. We could do some wood here in the door, just a little light lines. And also we could draw in the curtains so we can see what's inside the house a little bit. We're always curious to know. You can always pretend there's something on the windowsill. We like that too. That's all for the sketch. That's all we need. And now we can add some color and you can watch me doing so.